This is how my clients settle their cases at mediation, and they avoid trial. They avoid the expense, the unpredictability, the stress of trial, and the length of trial. Cases that go to trial last 18 months, 2 years, 3 years. Cases that settle in mediation can settle within 1 to 3 months, sometimes longer, but 1 to 3 months is a good guide and a good thing to shoot for. So here's what they are, the 4 key strategies. Number one is be open to compromise. If your spouse says, hey, let's do mediation, that is a great invitation to just get through this period of your life and get on to the next step. But you have to be open to compromise. You can't go into mediation and say, this it's going to be my way or the highway. That's not how it works. Both sides have to be flexible and have to be willing to look at creative options. Number two is you got to leave your emotions at the door. Mediation doesn't work if you are not aware of how you're feeling. If you're, feeling angry at the other side or jealous or envious or anything like that, there is going to be a disinclination to agree to anything, even if it's, not that big of a compromise and it can really move your case forward. It's really hard to agree to those sorts of things if you're angry at the other side, or at least if you can't put that anger in your pocket or out the door or in your glove box before you walk into the mediator's office. If you're coming in with a clear vision and a goal to get to the end, then compromise is going to feel a lot easier. So do everything you can to leave your emotions at the door. Get into therapy, get into a support group, vent with your best friend, vent with your mother or your father. Get all of that out. Get to the place where you say, you know what? It's more important for me to get past this difficult time in my life than to maybe not allow them off the hook. People often say or feel like they're letting the other side off the hook if they agree too easily to things. So they want to make it a little bit painful. Leave all of that outside of the mediator's office. If you want to get through this process, if you want to make it as painless as possible, then you have to be open to compromise. The next thing is understand where you can negotiate. Understand how far you can negotiate. So understand the law and how the law might be applied to your situation. Understand the different legal avenues that a lawyer might go to resolve this case. You might think, well, I'm not going to agree to X, Y, and Z. And then you talk to a lawyer and they say, if you go to court, that's what the judge is going to order at the end of the day. And it's not as simple as you say, well, then fine, let the judge do it. Because if you just let the judge do it, what letting the judge do it looks like is that you spend 18 months in court, you spend 5 figures on preparing for trial and the litigation process, and then you go to trial and then the judge decides. Court is not like you just show up and one side tells the judge, here's what's going on. The other side says, no, this is what's going on. And then the judge decides. No, the judge doesn't decide until you do all this legwork before. And there's a disincentive in court to have the judge decide anything. So learn what a judge would probably do. That's what a lawyer will help you understand. And then use that information to mediate and to compromise. Stop if it becomes overwhelming. This is a really big one. So when you're in court or when you're in the mediator's office, this whole process is going to become overwhelming because it's going to bring up all these emotions from your, 15, 20-year marriage. You're going to start thinking about, moving past this period and what your life looks like ahead, or maybe you'll be discussing the house and it's going to trigger all these feelings of when you first were in love and you bought this house, and it can get really overwhelming. And if you're in a place of overwhelm, again, that is going to be those emotions that you left in the glove box out in the car are going to hop out of that glove box and walk right into the mediator's office, and make it really difficult to make any decisions. So make sure that if it becomes overwhelming, that you communicate that to the mediator and pause it. Maybe it means a 5-minute water break. Maybe it means a lunch. Maybe it means you come back the next day. Maybe it means you pause for 2 weeks. But if you want mediation to be effective, you have to be aware of whether or not you're in the right mind state to do the mediation. And then finally, don't use mediation, and this is related to the whole emotional thing, to the overwhelm, to the emotions in the glove box. Don't use it as a tool to get back at your spouse. If you are feeling like you need some sort of vengeance, and that is the overwhelming emotion in your body, mediation is not going to work. It's just you're gonna be wasting everybody's time, and it's just inappropriate to do mediation in that state. Further, if you have that sort of feeling and you take that into court, all you're going to do is just burn through your money, cause your life a lot of stress. And the thing about vengeance is ultimately it affects you more than the other side. And you're going to trap yourself in a spiral of being stuck in this negative place. Whereas if you just get to the place of forgiveness or moving on, you will be much happier down the road. So don't use mediation as a place to get back at your spouse. Those are the keys that my clients use to get through the mediation process, to resolve their case in the mediation process and avoid trial. You can use them too. Best of luck. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment below if you found this helpful. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you want more videos on. This is Illinois Divorce TV, and I'll talk to you soon.